Hey there, boys, girls, and squirrels. My name is Modstab, and welcome back to Conan Exiles. So, we talked about this in the last video, but today's mission is to build a bridge from here. That's right. From this little place right here. And bring it over here. And then make it beautiful. I'm thinking we'll put like a little, like a little watchtower over here. And then maybe we can find something else to do on the side, you know, I don't know, we'll find something, I'm sure. But for now, we're gonna put a watchtower here and build a bridge. Now, I thought about doing this with pillars and ceilings. And then I got to thinking, like, how cool would it be to try to make like a 4-wide bridge and make it look really, really nifty. So here's what we're gonna try to do here. We're gonna try to bring these guys down, right? Okay. So we're gonna start with foundations, and we're gonna start with like this furthest spot. Okay, over. So we're gonna have like a 4-wide bridge. Now here's the catch with this build is, in order to get it started, I'm gonna have to build all the way down to the ground just to make sure everything stays on the same level, right? Not you, get out of here, get out of here. I don't got time for that. All right, and we're just gonna keep building until we get to the point where we're on the other side. Yeah. And then we'll just build up here. And this will set our framework for what we're trying to do here. There we go. And we'll probably want to bring this bridge up one, so we'll probably have the bridge climb. But what I'm thinking is we can kind of make little archways. As you can see in my inventory, I do have the inverted walls. I do have the ramps, and I do have some ceilings to kind of help fill in some gaps and whatnot here and there and otherwise. But the important thing is we are going to be building something beautiful. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this framework taken care of on camera so you guys can get like an idea of how I keep things square. Apparently, I don't even know how to do that. But this is how I have to build everything that I'm like leading up to if it's not directly connected immediately to it. I end up having to build over like this, so that everything stays squared, because ultimately that's the mission, you know, is keep everything squared to make it look like it was put there intentionally. Alrighty, and then you end up having to delete most of these foundations. But for now, what we're gonna do is I think we are dead even as it stands right now, but we will more than likely have to fill in some stuff. So we're gonna see how that sets. Not you. I just want to see how it sits right here. Alright, so we got it. It's not perfect, but what I'm thinking we could do is we could build the bridge here, and then we can have a small disconnect with the sand. So we walk up to the sand, and then here is the watchtower. So I'm thinking a small disconnect might look really super nice. But with that being said, I really want to fill this out in such a way where it doesn't look like absolute trash. So that's 100 foundations down just to get everything working properly. And I think we do kind of have it set up nicely there. I'm not super concerned with that. And so what I'm going to try to do here, now that we have this taken care of, all right, we're going to start with, I'm thinking ceilings. And what I want to do is I want to put those, we'll put the ceilings here. Yeah. And then we might have to do foundation pieces and things like that to keep them connected. But here's what I'm thinking. Alright. We'll be able to fill these gaps in by putting foundations on top of them. But this will get us started in such a way. We will do, because we're going to have to build it from down here. Alright. And this is exclusively to get the placement of everything taken care of properly. Alright, what are we doing here? Let me up, thank you. Alright. And then essentially what's going to happen is we're going to turn these little places into kind of the pillars. There we go. And sometimes it doesn't cooperate with you properly, but you'll have to work with that. So these essentially are going to be the pillars. We're going to get rid of everything in between them. And then we'll continue doing this, building ceilings and seeing how far those ceilings are going to go. Stereotypically, you can get 4 and then you're done. So if you want to kind of get prepped and ready for that, you're going to know that the count is going to be 4 and that you're going to have to build a pillar below it. So I'm going to do that off camera. That way you guys don't have to watch the monotony of finding where these pillars go. And then we'll be right back after that. Alrighty, so off camera, on top of finishing that, what I did was I took the liberty of clearing out all the extra kind of areas and stuff that I used to connect it, make sure it was on the same line. And so what we want to do here is I'm actually going to start by doing the bottom portion because I think this is my favorite. So you got this right here, right? And this is how you really make it look like an archway. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, we need to go to number 8. Okay, I gotta remember which ones I got where. All right. And so we're gonna go ahead and do this on all of these little categories right here. All right. And just make sure it's all facing the same way. Now, what we might want to do is, since stone brick doesn't work really well for this kind of thing, you may want to put like faces and things like that, but I'm gonna use stone brick just to keep all of... I did the wrong one, y'all. I guess it technically doesn't matter. But to keep kind of a cohesive design, I do want to kind of keep the stone brick idea alive, okay? I'm going to keep it alive, friends. There we go, outer face. And then you go back through, and you do the same thing on the other side. All right. And this is like the most awkward part, in my opinion, to like Conan Exiles, is how sometimes it'll snap perfectly, as you saw the last couple of them did. And sometimes it just doesn't. It just won't. Sometimes it doesn't want to cooperate with you at all. Like here. Alright. Perfect. And then this doesn't really set it apart, but this kind of gets you started. And I'll show you why here in just a second. Alright. And one thing that I did find out is it's kind of hard to see, but if you look here, you see how it's kind of the bright, or it's a brighter orange when it's on its proper positioning. Oh, come on, Bobby. Come on, Bobby. All right. It's a slightly brighter orange than it is when it's not facing the correct way. Like right here, you can see like it's a dull orange. Now it's kind of a deep, rich orange. That's usually a surefire sign that you need to be placing it there, because that is the right portion. Excuse me. And we're going to be putting this here. And you guys can kind of see, and what I'll do is I'll back out after I finish this, just to kind of get the idea for you guys. But you can really see it kind of start taking off as far as archways are concerned once you finish that. All right. Now that we have that portion, we're going to go ahead and take care of these. All right, and then we'll back out, or after I finish this, I do want to back out and kind of show you what it does look like, even if we don't add the ramps. Now, it's kind of like a little trick, because a ramp only goes upwards, right? So you can't technically put it by itself in a position that's going to make it look like it kind of climbs on a downward slope. But if you can get a couple foundations, you can actually technically place it on the bottom of the 2 foundations. Like right here, you can place it on that foundation, and it'll actually climb up. And it makes it look really super nice. All right, let's go ahead and let's back off. So you can kind of see here, we're starting to get kind of this feel of like a pillar. Now, it looks really weird and kind of flimsy because we just have the ceiling across the top there, and we'll work with that, but you need to have the ceilings in order to kind of create that gap. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to throw in these ramps right here. All right, and so you can kind of see, once I get it, see if we can't get it here. See how it's kind of, it's off of that second one right there? So you can kind of see how that ramp climbs back up. You place it there, and it really makes it just look, it looks really nice when you do that. All right. Now your goal is just to place these on all of those little sections. All right. There we go. And it only works this way, at least in my experience. Now, I could be wrong, but it only works this way when I have multiple foundations, one right on top of the other. As it'll let you snap to either one of those foundations, whether it's the guy on top. Like if it snaps to the guy on top, you're generally doing something like this. But because we have those kind of like inverted walls, it really brings everything to life. All right, so we should have gotten all those. And now once you're done with that, you should be looking at something here. So no matter what angle you come at, it's going to be nice, it's going to be attached, it's going to have that texture, and it's not going to feel empty and flimsy like you're lacking support. And now what we want to do is we just want to kind of fill everything in. All right, and we're going to see if we can't make this happen. All right, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to fill this whole thing in, and so it's dead even on all its fronts, and then we will be right back. And once you kind of get this filled out, you should be left with something like this. And now you're probably wondering, well, what do you got to do about these weird little hiccups here, okay? Like, what do you got to do here? Why? And then we have these gaps here. You're wondering, well, what the crap, son? That doesn't look good at all. What? You're lying to me. You're not building a bridge. You're building a piece of garbage. Here's where things get interesting, okay? You go into your inventory, and this is entirely up to you. I do prefer putting the frames down, as I think it creates a lot of depth, and that also does allow you to really kind of divide things up. But you can start placing these frames, right? Get in there, little guy. Thank you. Invalid building location. My buffalo. All right. And you can actually fill these guys up. And now the reason I do this is a combination of reasons. If you have these frames here, which are going to function like windows, you're going to be in a position where you can actually put lights behind these little pillars. And what it does is it kind of divides everything up. And it really makes it look nice. And an added benefit, I don't want to put that in there. Not because it's going to matter, because nobody's going to see in there, but because you want to be able to have that light travel in an even fashion. If you can't tell, a large portion of this build is dedicated to the idea of lighting. And I think that's really important to set your build apart from a lot of other builds. Like, you can build the most epic, amazing, beautiful structure like in the entirety of the earth, right? But if you don't have a good lighting system, as soon as nighttime falls, garbage. It really falls to pieces. And so what I want to do is, this is a really warm light, okay? And we're going to have nice towers, so we want everything to kind of maintain that warm feeling. If we were building the bridge off of this, however, maybe we focus on a little bit of the cooler lighting. But for now, we're going to replicate that warm lighting. And in order to do so, I think I have a ton of different braziers in here, and it really doesn't matter which ones you place, as they're just gonna kind of hang out there. Now the wall ones make the most sense for me, once again, because you can place them right on these side foundations. Like, it just makes it really super easy. And I usually try to do 2 of them. And once again, because nobody's really gonna see into here, they don't have to be perfect. They just have to look really decent when the time comes, aka nighttime. See what I did there? I made a funny thing. I made the funnies. But you can already see, like, this is starting to really take place. And what you can do as well is you can decide to leave these open, and you can put like bonfires or campfires or whatever you want in those areas. I'd like to cover them up with these ceilings. Now you can obviously tell, like, there's a pretty defined difference between the ceilings and the actual foundation tiles. Some people, that's going to drive mad, and they're just going to lose their mind. And that is entirely okay. You don't have to do this. You can put it in such a way where you can actually build the foundations up on the sides, and then everything just stays even. Everything keeps that same texture. But I really like the feel of this because it divides up the monotony of this stone brick texture. Because you want to keep things cohesive and similar without varying too far away, but you do want to also give it a little bit of flair. Now, what I like to do on these portions is, I think I have some fences. It's a fence foundation. There we go, stone brick fence. We're going to throw these bad boys down where the braziers are. And now you can kind of place these fences right on top to give it a little bit of a feel of that kind of walkway. And that's kind of ultimately, that's what we're going for here. We want to keep things nice. We want to keep them simple. We want to keep them beautiful. And this really helps any of those weird edges that you might be, you know, struggling with. We're actually going to go ahead and put some of them here, as that's going to really make you focus on going up into that pitted area. But any of those weird edges where you see the separation between the walls and the ceilings versus the foundation, this is going to take care of it, at least on the top portion. This is going to make that little line across where that wood goes consistent across the board. And that's kind of what we're looking for. And then we stop here. All right, and so now we have this bridge. And what you can do is you can leave a simple bridge like this. You can put pillars, and you can replicate the idea of like that archway on the top here. Maybe take pillars up, build an archway, and you can do that across the board and build a ceiling. I like it being open because it really kind of it matches the openness of my build. Maybe up on the top, like if we build across here, we can kind of replicate that for you guys, or, you know, build a bridge from there to there in which we can showcase something over the top like a roof. But for now, this is what we're looking at here. I'm going to go ahead and get some of the foundational portions started for the watchtower, and I will be right back for you guys. Alrighty, and so I went ahead and went with something like this. Now, to keep this video a little shorter, I am going to kind of try to rush through this off camera a little bit, but you can go ahead and you can have 5 wide on each side, and then you can place a handful of the angled foundations down. Now, the reason I'm doing it this way is because what I wanted to do is have like this little cutout where the wall kind of tapers out. And in order to kind of show you how that's going to look, I'm going to do something like this here. And so what that's going to do is that's going to create kind of this, for lack of a better term, little cutout or a little cubby where you're actually going to be able to look at things differently. And now we might be adding a doorway towards, I don't know, one of these corners or one of these sides. Probably this side right here, now that I think about it. So I'm going to leave that one open. And then we're going to go ahead and go back to regular stone brick walls. Let's go ahead and... Here we go. And once again, like I said, we're going to try to keep everything cohesive as a design. Alrighty. And what we'll probably do is we'll have the door offset just a smidge. And the reason that is because, well, because we did go this particular size, we're going to be left with something that doesn't have a perfect center. And so you'll have to be mindful of that. If you're somebody who wants to have a perfect center, like I am oftentimes, this is not going to be the perfect size for you. You're probably going to want to add 1 block to each, or just 1 block extra this way. It'll still work. It'll just be a little bit less of a squared size and a little bit more of a rectangular size. Now, that being said, all right, you know what we could do to keep everything cohesive is we could keep the doorway here. It just wouldn't flow quite as nicely from this portion. You know what? Let's just do it this way. We'll do 2 wide. We'll do 2 wide here. Keep it even on this portion. And then we'll just do the staircases up to here. And then we'll make the exit door that way. Now, I'm going to go ahead and build the walls up on the sides here. All I'm going to do is replicate what we have going on here, leaving the gap there for the door frame. And then we're going to go ahead and put the 2 door frames here as well. And once I get that up to a height that I think is good for the tower I'm looking for, then we'll pop back in and I'll kind of show you what I'm thinking for a staircase. All right, team. So you should have something like this. And on all of those little juts, those little sections where it does come out, you are going to want to put windows because ultimately it is a watchtower. And so you want to be putting yourself in a position where you can see no matter what angle it is. And the corners here are just to keep a little bit extra layer of protection, something to hide out, let's say, if you're getting shot by arrows. And you replicate that even on the sections with the doorways. And now that we have that taken care of, we're actually going to focus on working on the staircase. And now I'm going to go ahead and get a few of these sandstone stairs and then the ceilings. And I actually kind of want to walk them into this portion. And now, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to, let me get my angular ceilings as well. I should have a handful of those in here. If not, I'll just have to spawn some in. All right, I'm going to go ahead and spawn some in real quick. I had a little bit of a phone call thing happen, so we're back on track. And what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and I want to place the stairs here. And now you're going to take your sandstone wedges or whatever you happen to be using, and you're just going to replicate the pattern you have already set. Now, the reason this is important is because it's going to allow you to kind of get a walkway on these window regions, right? And that really is what it's going to come down to. Now, you have the option at this point. Do you replicate the staircase, and do you want a staircase on each side, or do you want to kind of create this second level? Now, for me, I'm going to do a little bit of a modify here, a little bit of a modified section. I'm going to put the staircase here, right? Because I want it to go up. Then I'm going to go ahead and place some ceilings down to kind of give it that second story. Come on, baby boy. Sometimes it doesn't want to cooperate, and you just got to work with it. You got to work with it. All right. And because everything should be surrounded by a foundation, it should give you the option of doing something like this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of leave everything kind of squared off and not worry about filling in the middle, because I want to have this middle section in a position where you can, and it's going to be a little bit different because you're going to have this staircase here, but I want to kind of have this idea of like this centralized portion area where you can kind of look down the build, kind of create this little, hey, how's it going, guys? And we'll put fences up and things like that. But once again, you're going to go ahead and replicate the wedges here. And at this point, if you're doing this in stories or in tiers, it doesn't matter where you fill the wedges in. You're going to be doing it on every single level. So once again, you can get that walkway. Now here's where I have to think about things. This, we're not going to be able to hold there if we're going to have a staircase. And so we're going to have to forgo this one in order to get the walkway like we want it. And it's going to be a tight little walkway, but that's okay. And so now that we have this, we could replicate it and have the staircase go here the whole time, but I want to traverse the whole area. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start the staircase here again on the exact, I shouldn't say again, but on the exact opposite side of which we have it there. You're going to go ahead and do the wedges once more, keep everything cohesive and beautiful, and then you're going to go ahead and do stairs. Now this is once again where you can get a lot more creative. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do 2 stairs all the way up, and then we're actually probably going to put them in the corner here. So what I'm thinking is, let's see, I got to figure out whether I want to replicate this all the way down or not. All right. Let's go ahead and it wants to snap to everything but what I want it to. All right. There we go. Thank you. Thank you for your generous donation. Either way, we're going to have these guys kind of hanging out, having a good old time. All right. And remember that we only had the one gap in the middle. You could set these stairs up in such a way where you would have that secondary option available. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and build a staircase up. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the staircase right next to it so that we can get right to the top. And then we're going to fill this bad boy in. I know I said I was going to jump cut this a lot, but it ended up being a little bit quicker of a building process than I thought it would be. So it might be a slightly longer video than normal for Conan, but I think it'll be something that everybody can kind of relate to. All right, we can go there. And then what's going to happen is we're going to be put at the top. And once again, you're going to want to replicate the wedges. And really keep in mind that you can use any type of foundation or brick or ceiling that you want. It doesn't have to be stone brick like what I have. Fit it to what you want your buildings to look like. If you have a small little quote-unquote city, feel free to match it to whatever bricks you're using there. I have none of the DLC downloaded right now. I'm currently only playing on like the base version of the game. And so keep that in mind as you're looking at all of this. Now this last floor is going to be really tight. It's going to be really, really tight. But that's okay because we want to get up here. We want to get things moving. All right. We're going to have to fill this in because you're on the top floor. So no, I have been lied to. Okay, so maybe we can figure out something here to do with like a, I don't know, like we'll keep this as like a singular looky downy holy for lack of a better term because I'm a genius. All right, now we're at the top, and what I want to do here is, once again, where do we got those guys? Now we could do stone brick wall caps and keep it more of that jagged, angular, kind of castle-esque look. But what I'm thinking is we can get some other things on here. And I'm going to go ahead and go in my inventory because I'm going to have to spawn all this stuff in, and then we will be right back to Genos. Alrighty, so we're going to do a combination of fences and ceiling caps. So we're going to go ahead and get the fences started. Come on, baby. Thank you. We're going to start by putting these on the corners because it makes the most sense, obviously. In order to keep the build kind of not looking too derpy, you want to do something like this. Now, I am going to go ahead and replicate the fences on these portions to kind of give it, once again, to replicate that idea that, hello, little guy, that you're kind of focusing on the juts here. Now, I'm not entirely sure how this one's going to look, but I do want to try to see if maybe having these little gaps is going to be something that'll work well for us as far as like a little, I don't know, like a little sentry point, so to speak. Worst case scenario, we just go ahead and back to those, but I want to see how it looks here. because it gives it a little bit of depth from the outside. I just don't know if I like it. And we haven't done any shape quite like that yet. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get rid of those and just leave them as fences. Now what we could do is we could put pillars and put a little cap, which is what we're going to finish things off with. Get out of here, friendly toe. So we're just going to keep fences here. Now I think that's something that's really important too when you're building is don't be afraid to do like I looked at that camera, I don't know why. Don't be afraid to do like trial and error, okay? Like that's one of my biggest things with figuring out like building structures and things like that is there is a trial and error portion of it, especially if you're like me and you're stubborn and you don't really want to look up like tutorials or you don't want to look up other people explaining it. You want to figure it out for yourself so you can really get in depth with how all this stuff works. I think that's important. And so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of create this kind of gazebo-esque feeling to it. So we're going to put these pillars on the 4 corners, and then I'm going to put a little bit of a roof, kind of like what I did there, and we'll be right back. And we are back for what I'm going to call the last jump cut of the video. We're going to go ahead and put some insulated roof on this to kind of replicate, once again, that design we did over here. To kind of, once again, keep things a little bit more cohesive. And I need to place these in the right manner. All right, we did it. We did it. We did it, team. We flippin' did it. Now, how do these slopes look? Oh, that's kind of cool. They're like a insulated. So I just went with everything that's insulated wood. But these are like insulated, like tiled. They do look kind of nifty. And we can use those to kind of create... Oh, can we cap it? Is there enough support to cap it? No, team. We might need to put a pillar all the way down the middle. And by pillar, I mean we might need to put some walls down the middle. I guess what we could do, if that's the case, and we're running into issues with that... oh, good lord. What we could do is we could put... Yeah, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this. We're going to build this all the way up to the top. Get up there, little guy. Get up. Not to the top of you. Nope, we want it to face the other way. Face the other way, friend. And then this kind of can play into the idea that we had. Perfect, this singular center. And here's what I'm thinking. Kind of make a little chimney-esque design. That's right, you heard me right. We're gonna make a little bit of a chimney. And then once we get this to the top, we should be able to put a peak on it. Or at least that's my hope, I should say. Come on, little guy. There we go, there we go. Now let's go back up here. Now let's see if we can't put the cap on it now. No. Well, either way, we're going to build it up. Build it. Build it up. Build it up, y'all. Build it up. All right, well. Can't put really anything on it, so we're just going to leave it open and leave it as a completely exposed chimney. All right, and let's go ahead and let's just keep building this thing down. Oh, good lord. Okay, I'm going to have to start paying attention to where this thing is going to place. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get rid of the flying because it's kind of annoying right now. Thank you. Alrighty. Now we have the outer face here. We're going to have the outer face there. All right. All right. Can we? All right. Here's what we're going to do. Gosh diddly dang. We're going to start from the bottom because this is being completely obnoxious. Ooh, I did it wrong again, friends. All right. Going to make sure that the outer face is not legible from my point of view. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to leave that open as like a actual door frame. So let me grab, where did I put the door frame at? I got it in here somewhere, y'all. Door frame, door frame, door frame. Did I put it towards the top? Ah, it was towards the top. All right, let's do this. All right. Now we have a door frame in which we can continue shoveling beautiful, beautiful fire into. All right, outer face. Nice. All right, now we're going to go up the stairs. Alrighty. And this one is really spacious, like up on top here. Unfortunately, that's not how we did everything else, so we'll have to live with ourselves, but still beautiful nonetheless. Get link to this, you little savage creature. Oh, good lord. Oh, good gravy. No, no, no. Snap the other way. Oh, this thing is being a pain in the glutes, y'all. Being a pain in mine glutes. Okay, let's see if trying to come at it from the top angle here helps. All right, we're going to try to do this. It's not letting me snap to it. That is savagery at its finest. It's letting me snap to everything but that. But here's the thing. Is it's just taking the foundational strength from the bottom all the way to the top, so it shouldn't be running into issues. You know what? I'm a salty boy. I'm a salty boy. Alright, I know I said we weren't going to jump cut, but everything was being a pain in the butt. I got a sandstorm. It was all great and fine and awesome. But now we have our little bridge here that has a beautiful little archway in the middle. It's great. We have these little fire sections. And we're actually going to go up here and we're going to give you a quick little preview. I do need to add some stairs here. You know, I do need to add some stairs here, but we'll do that off camera because that's, you know, that's something we can figure out. All right, so you got this little section down here. And for now, I just got this like fire cauldron here because I think it looks cool. It's going to be the fire that'll keep everything warm at night and all that kind of stuff. But you come up here. It's going to be a tight fit. It's going to be a tight fit. That's okay. That's entirely okay. And you're kind of walking around here. We have room where we can decorate these, but I don't want to do that now because this video's gone on far long enough. And we are just here to build the things. All right, and you get up to this last floor. Once again, it's really, really tight. But it is a watchtower. It's a watch post, and you don't want things to be too open and exposed. We get to the top, and once again, we still have this little pillar here. Just to give it the aesthetic appearance we're looking for of like a chimney. And then you get all the way up to the top, and I think we'll actually end up building something off that, maybe up the rocks. Who knows? I think we can make it look real nice. And then you jump off, and you fly into the middle of nowhere land. Alrighty, but that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me. I know it was a little bit longer, but I did want to keep, I did want to be a little more in-depth with how I wanted things to be built or how I went about the building process on my own. And so I'm hoping this will help reveal that to you guys. We're going to go ahead and light this thing up real quick. I'm going to get a thumbnail. But that's going to do it for today's episode. So I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember, liking, commenting, subscribing. Great tools for you to get in touch with me. Let me know if you liked, didn't like, what you want to see next. If you made it this far and you are not a member of this community, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification icon because we do upload everything every single day of the week and we live stream every Wednesday. Currently, we're going to switch that from 9 to 5 to 10 to 5 Central Standard Time. If you are a member of this community and you haven't hit the bell notification icon, once again, do so now because that keeps you up to date on what we're doing. Without further ado, I'm going to shut my filthy little cake hole. But remember, I love you guys, and we will see you next time. Toodles!